Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling with the Week, a pop culture chokeslam through the heart-shaped bed of the last 7 days. I'm your host, James Willems, joined, as always, by Scorpio Sky.
James, what a week. I've got my Nespresso coffee here with me. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California. What more can you ask for? And episode 5, we're not canceled yet. We're still here.
Not canceled yet. I'm glad you brought that up. You have your espresso. I have my, I think it's a Target candle that I huff. So we both have our methods, but I'm glad that you mentioned not canceled yet because we aren't, number one, like you said. Number two, not only are we not canceled, we're capitalizing on being not canceled. So we mentioned last time that we have that might be a good t-shirt idea. And I think a theme that is kind of happening with this show is we mention things and then they manifest. It's like monkey's paw. And so we actually have some t-shirts that are our not canceled t-shirts. And our producer, Eric, he got these put together, and there were 3 of them. He sent them to you and I each individually, and you and I each preferred a different one. So I think they all look great, but we want to put it out here, and we kind of want to see what people think, and whichever one people prefer will be available to purchase. So yeah, you I believe preferred the white and then the yellow, the not canceled yet, right? Little parentheses one? Okay.
Yeah. So I think we definitely, let's get the audience involved. This is an audience-involved show. So please, if you go over there, get on the Twitter machine, jump on the Instagrams, WWTWPOD, and tweet us and comment. We're going to put it to a vote. Whoever, whatever you guys like, that's what we're going to put out there because obviously we want you to buy it. So yeah, I'm good with either one. Honestly, they're both really cool. And wouldn't that be imagine if say by episode 6 we sell 6,000 shirts and then we get canceled.
That would be ironic. Yeah. I guess that's why we put the yet in there. People can just scratch that part out. It should be a decal that you could put the yet on. I think it's fun. And I honestly, I think it's a fun part of the show. One of my favorite parts of this show is we kind of always open it with something that's audience interactive. There's always some sort of it's not a game, but it's a fun interactivity element to the whole show. And I really like that. I'd like to keep ways to keep figuring that out. So throwing that back up again, if you have things you want to suggest to us, stories you want to talk about, we're always open. We're always listening. We have a lot of stuff we want to talk about today. We have some shoes. Mythical shoes have reappeared. They're back, and we also want to talk about wrestlers in politics. We, of course, want to talk about what happened on Dynamite. Just jumping right in. Sky, you were on a pretty cool podcast. Maybe not as cool as this podcast, but I mean, in terms of guesting, what's that all about?
You must be talking about the AEW Unrestricted podcast, I'm guessing. I did the show with Aubrey and Tony Schiavone. A little bit of background. Ever since Tony joined AEW, every time I see him, I shout at the top of my lungs. When I see him for the first time, it's always, Tony Schiavone! And he's like, Scorpio Sky! So that's just my thing. So... and obviously I love Aubrey, so it was fun to sit down and chat with them.
Yeah. So you guys kind of just shoot shit about wrestling and talking about everything, and did you pull any information back? Any good podcast strategies? Did they give you the lowdown on what they're doing, how they're because if we don't want to be canceled, we probably want to learn from the best.
Quite the opposite. They actually behind the scenes kept asking me what's the secret? What are you guys doing? It's you guys are killing it. It's the best podcast in the history of the world. And we just want to know. I think that's secretly, I think that's why they had me on the show. They wanted to, dip their toe into a little bit of greatness.
Is it possible that we could be the first, wrestling obviously has rivalries, but podcasts don't. is there a world where we create the first true podcast rivalry, and then we have these interwoven storylines, and then ultimately, when things kind of open back up again, we do a live show where we have our podcast going against their podcast? There's something to be said here. Maybe we can figure this out.
Automatically in my head, I picture like myself walking through the dressing room and then like seeing Tony Schiavone across the dressing room, and he's just like,
uh-oh. Yeah.
Just staring me down, just like giving me those eyes. But I actually really like the idea of the live podcast. When we used to do our pay-per-views in front of fans, it was always a whole weekend of events. And Conrad Thompson, another great podcaster, would host events called Starcast. And it was like Thursday through Sunday. And one of the things they would do was have live podcasts in front of fans. So I think once, things get back to being a little bit more normal and, hopefully, Starcast will return, we can do Wrestling with the Week in front of people. That would be so much fun.
That'd be really cool. That'd be a lot of fun. We'd see all those shirts, tattered, canceled shirts out there. It'd be a blast.
I love it.
Speaking of style, though, every single week we always kind of check in on my style and your style, though mine doesn't change very much, and yours is kind of always ever evolving. But I want to make sure to bring to your attention that there is a shoe update for me. No, I haven't purchased any, but we did find out that the Adidas Yeezy Foam Runner Black shoes they're back, baby. Look at those. So you love good shoes, you love nice shoes. Obviously, they wouldn't sell these things if they weren't cool. So tell me what's happening. What are your thoughts?
I think they're going to sell because Yeezy is a brand. Kanye West is a brand. I have a couple of pairs of Yeezys myself, even though I almost feel like I can't wear them right now because like Kanye is just so out there that I don't know if it's appropriate, but but I mean, looking at those shoes, those are some of the ugliest shoes I've ever seen in my life. They look like some type of slime creature is attacking you from the feet up. And I would never, ever, ever wear those. Wait, Yeezy isn't like a sponsor of the show, is it?
Not yet.
Okay. But I would never, ever wear those unless Yeezy becomes a sponsor of
I was going
to
say, if I was sent a free pair of those shoes, I would probably wear them. They look like, this is going to go full nerd, but if Crocs were Eddie Brock, those look like him infected with the Venom symbiote. That's what it looks like.
And I hate Crocs, by the way. Jungle Boy is so on the Crocs, and I give him so much heat every single time. I'm like, bro, you gotta stop with the Crocs. He's like, they're just really comfortable, man. I love them. And it's like, that's a weird Jungle Boy.
Hold on, I was gonna say, is that how Jungle Boy sounds?
He kind of talks like that, though. He kind of does.
Okay.
Like that. His voice, like
he sounds like
that
Buffalo
wasn't quite.
Like Clarice Starlight.
He kind of just make it younger. Like my voice was a little bit too old for like, it was a little bit like grizzled, but like if we could just like, I don't know, they're just really I don't know, man, they're really comfortable. I don't know, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Like, but that's he kind of talks like that.
But he loves Crocs though.
He loves Crocs. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Again, I'm not a shoe guy, and I never purport to have a good sense of style in any of that. But I also feel like you have to be in like an almost anti-style to wear Crocs. Just the idea of those plastic things on my feet sweating up my feet and just being disgusting. It just doesn't appeal to me at all.
Ew, gross. That's just like, I don't get it. But hey, to each their own. If that's what he digs, that's what he digs. But going back to the whole style, I did pick up a new pair of shoes this past week, which I haven't bought in shoes in a little while. It's a little strange. Yeah. And I do happen to have them right here. These babies. Whoa! Jordan 1 band. This. Oh yeah. We were talking about it last week. Yeah, I had to get the pair. I mean, I'm so excited to wear these, man. Like. Such a beautiful shoe. I don't know if we've mentioned it, but the Jordan 1 is my favorite shoe ever. ever.
Okay.
I just feel like the silhouette is so good.
Mm-hmm.
The shape of it. These are the mids. They come in highs, and I just feel, I don't know. They're casual. They're sporty. They you could dress them up. You could dress them down. They're such a great shoe. I love them.
When I close my eyes and imagine shoes, well, the first thing I picture are the Yeezy foam runners. But like the second thing I picture are those Jordans. Like even the color scheme, like the color palette, the Chicago Bulls color palette and stuff like that. It's just that just feels like that's how shoes look.
It's iconic.
Yeah, it is.
Like
it is for
Jordan
sure
wore these when he was like killing the league, man. So it's like it's cool. And again, and to get even more specific, again, like I said, these are the mids. They make them. They're called mids. You know, this is where basically the top cuts off. They have highs that actually come a little higher, but the mids are my favorite because I do feel sometimes that the high Jordan ones are just a little too high, and they almost have that like boot type of look to them. And they're cool sometimes, but comfort wise, look wise, I really like the mids. So I haven't worn these yet. You can lick the bottom, as we say in sneaker culture. I'm really excited to rock those. Maybe I'll take them on the road next week or something.
Can I ask, did you have to buy them from a reseller, or were you able to get them? I don't know. I don't know.
I get a lot of my shoes off StockX, which is an app that it's like a sneakers app. There's GOAT and there's StockX, and you can purchase a lot of shoes. And the cool thing about StockX and those types of apps is they verify that the shoe is legitimate. So the seller, you buy them, they don't ship directly to you. They ship to StockX, and then StockX will verify that they are real before sending them to you. So this is actually my second pair I bought because the first pair must not have been real or just didn't pass protocol, and they canceled the order and refunded me. So then I just went and bought these, and they got to me pretty quickly, and they are here and they are mine. And this is like my, gosh, I don't know, 20-something pair of Jordan 1s possibly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you love them and it means something to you and you can only wear them once because as soon as you get a scuff on the bottom, you're throwing them out. That's what you got to do, right? That's what you got to do.
Yes, sir.
Hey, wow.
That's going to be a gift.
I was going to say, a lot of people have made careers for themselves by licking certain things, mostly game controllers. But in this case, you might get a career for yourself licking the bottom of very clean shoes. Very nice shoes.
I don't know about that. Speaking of game controllers, how much money do you think the gaming industry makes off replacement controllers? Because I don't know about you, but there have been many times where I just wanted to break my controller. And that's a recent thing, maybe just in the last few months. Like at one point, I would get mad and I'd throw the controller, but it was a controlled temper tantrum. So I would like throw it on the couch to make sure it doesn't
that's classic gamer trick. Yeah, that's
throw it on the couch so it has a nice soft landing. But then recently, or not recently, but in the last couple of months, there have been a few times where first it was thrown on the couch, but I threw it a little bit too hard, so it would bounce off the couch and smash on the ground. I'm like, damn it. Or then sometimes it's just like, okay, whatever. Like, there's nothing I can do. But yeah, I mean, that's got to be a big industry, right? Replacement controllers?
Yeah, it must be. And also controllers are getting more and more complex. Like even the difference you saw between the PS4 and the PS5. Like one controller came from space and was left behind for the aliens left it behind for us to find the other PS4 controller. They're way more complex. They have glowing lights and stuff and sensitivities and the rumble and stuff what is it? I don't even remember what it's called. The PS5's feedback system, but they're way more complex. This is my go-to controller, which is a Xbox Elite controller.
Holy cow. Look at that.
Well, I don't even know if you've ever dealt with any of these before, but it has switches on the back that allow you to determine how hard you have to press on the shoulder buttons. And then if you want, I don't even have the case here. It came with a case, and if you want, you can pop these out and replace them with bigger, longer ones if you prefer more height, or you can pop the D-pad off so that way you can replace it with a different D-pad. And it also, you could kill a man with this controller. You could smash a skull in with the weight of this controller. But at the same time, at the same time, if this broke, I'm like, now I'm out like $250 or something. So
big time. So are you very careful when you do your gaming temper tantrums, right?
Well, I mean, you nailed you hit the nail on the head, because if you want to survive as a gamer, you have to manage that rage, because you can't stop the anger from coming. You're going to lose a match. You're going to play a game. You're going to get killed online, and you're going to get pissed off. But that's what you're doing the exact right thing, which is throw it at the couch. And even you're learning, like, you're like, oh, but if I throw it at the pillow, then it's going to fall on the floor. So when I get up and throw it at the couch, you got to aim for the wedge in the 4 cushions, because that's where it catches. It's like when you're, it's like, it's brilliant. Like, I mean, if you're gonna get slammed in the ring, hope you get slammed in the center of the ring as opposed to on the apron, because it's going to hurt a lot more on the apron, right? So
yeah.
By the way, kind of the same idea. Go ahead.
Jumping subjects for a second, and this is just literally for a second. They always say like the apron is the hardest part of the ring, right? They're always like, "Oh man, he slammed him on the hardest part of the ring." I'm like, "No, it's not. Isn't the ring post harder?"
The ring post would be harder. Yeah,
that's the hardest part of the ring.
Yeah,
it's just a really small observation that I should, probably should have kept to myself, but whatever.
No, it makes sense. It's a fair point. I'll make sure to tell Jim Ross next time he claims that the pile driver that someone just endured on the apron could have been much worse if he was standing on the turnbuckle and pile drove him onto the ring post. Yeah.
Jim Ross is always really nice to me, and he's just he's a sweetheart, and he's a legend, right? Jim Ross is great. I love it.
I have only one personal Jim Ross story, and it's that he was in Los Angeles for some reason, and I was in Los Angeles at the same time, and I found out that Jim Ross was in the lobby of a hotel near where I was eating dinner. And I was like, oh. So then I was like, it's right there. I walked over, looked at him, and then my wife was like, you should go talk to him. You should go like ask him for a photo or something like that. Like, you love Jim Ross. And I was like, I do, but I don't want to bother Jim Ross. And then I turned around and left the lobby, even though he probably would have been the nicest, like more than anything accommodating. But I was like, I saw Jim Ross there. I did it. And I got to tell,
I probably shouldn't tell this story, but he might kill me. But I don't think he listens to the show. So
this podcast is going to be 15 minutes long because of all the stuff we had to cut out after the fact.
Yes. Mm-hmm. One of the days after an AEW show, I think we were in Philly or something when life was a little bit more normal. We were all hanging out at the bar, and we all had a few soda pops, so we were open, and JR and I were just chatting, talking it up, and I had heard on his podcast he was saying that he had just redone his kitchen or whatever, and so we were talking about that, and he was like, "I got a girl coming over this weekend," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great." He's like, "Yeah, I've had him cook dinner for her in a new kitchen," and then he hits one of the best lines ever. He says, "I told him I make great dinner, but I make better breakfast." Wow! And I was like, "Oh, yes, sir."
Do you know if he has like a hat rack next to his bed that he can basically take his hat off, hang it, and then go to sleep, and then wake up and then put the hat back on immediately? Do you think it's the first and last thing?
It might be. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well,
he's always in that hat, though. I mean, I think he travels with it. I think I've seen him in the airport with it. I mean, it's better. What are you going to do? Check it? Like, you can't check that. So yeah, I guess he probably does wear it almost all the time. But yeah, JR's great, man. I always like having JR call my matches.
I really want to try his breakfast now.
This episode of Wrestling with the Week has been brought to you by Honey. These days, it feels like online shopping is the only shopping we really do. That's where today's sponsor, Honey, comes into play. It's the free browsing extension that scours the internet for promo codes and automatically tests them when you're checking out. Honey is basically your online shopping best friend. Here's how it works. You get Honey on your computer for free in 2 easy clicks. Then, when you're checking out of one of its over 30,000 supported sites, Honey pops up and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Just wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons of that site, and if it finds working codes, it'll apply it to your cart. Honey has found its over 17 million members over 2 billion in savings and supports all kinds of retailers, from tech and gaming sites to fashion brands to even food delivery. It's simple. If you have a computer, Honey should be on it. It's free and works with whatever browser you use. You can get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/week. That's joinhoney.com/WEEK, so they know we sent you. Give it a try and see how much you'll save today. Thanks to Honey for supporting today's episode.
This episode of Wrestling with the Week is brought to you by Upstart. You know that credit card? The one you've been afraid to look and see what the balance is? Well, if you've been avoiding your debt, it's time to confront it. Upstart can help you face it and finally pay it off. Upstart is the fast and easy way to get a personal loan to pay off your debt all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 500,000 people have used Upstart to get simple, fixed monthly payments. Upstart finds smarter rates with trusted partners because they assess more than just your credit score. With a 5-minute online rate check, you can see your rate up front for loans from $1,000 to $50,000. You can get approved the same day and can receive funds as fast as one business day. If debt is taking over your life, it's time to get a fresh start with Upstart. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/week. That's upstart.com/WEEK. Don't forget to use the URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/week to get started. But anyway, I
think he has a house in Jacksonville, so we can maybe he'll invite us over sometime. Maybe. I'll tell you, actually, do you ever watch Shot of Brandi? Mm-hmm. Brandi's YouTube show where she cooks. I was on the show once. It's so much fun. It's a really fun show to watch. I recommend anybody go check that out. She had JR on one episode, and I thought what they made was amazing. And it was actually a really cool episode. Like, you can actually learn some really good recipes from that show. And for anyone that doesn't know, basically what it is Shot of Brandi is a YouTube show that Brandi Rhodes does where she cooks, and usually the meal that she makes has something to do with alcohol. Example, when I did the show, we did like burgers, but the patties were like marinated in tequila because I love tequila, brother. And so like, but the thing is, you're drinking the whole time, and then at the end of the show, you have to chug whatever's left. So and I'll be completely honest with you, because I started, before we started, and then I opened the show chugging, and then I had to make another. I was so lit by the time that show was done. Like, I was like full Tequila Sky, woo, 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 woo. Like, and Tequila Sky is just a bad Ric Flair impression anyways. But watch the show. It's a lot of fun. I recommend it.
That's pretty awesome. I feel like you have an excuse, though. I mean, the goal was to get drunk. You got drunk, and you don't want to be the person on the show who walks away sober, because that means you did it wrong.
Yeah. Total drizz. And in the real party mode fashion, I went back to the hotel and passed out in the afternoon.
Perfect. Woke up to this.
I don't know how Brandi does it, because I think she films a couple a day. And so, she's back. Obviously, she's not doing it now because she's pregnant. So,
But back then, she was like, "Give me 5 minutes, and then we could start the next one." I love the idea of you stumbling back to your hotel, waking up the next morning to the smell of JR's breakfast cooking nearby.
I bet he makes amazing bacon, right?
Oh yeah.
You ever tried his barbecue sauce?
I have. Oh yes, I have. It's real good.
Yeah, it's good.
He's the kind of person you talk about him like having his hat with him everywhere he goes, and like something. I love when someone has an identity. It actually made me think of another story I wanted to talk about with you, which is Blue Demon is running for mayor in Mexico City. Now, so Blue Demon is a luchador and a longtime wrestler, but like, it's interesting because the culture there it takes wrestling very seriously.
That picture.
Yeah, I know. And he's a masked wrestler. For anyone listening, he's a masked wrestler. He wears a blue mask, but is still running for office and still maintaining his identity as Blue Demon. So it's not, it's not like other times other professional wrestlers have run for political office and it's like, all right, okay, let's put things aside. You may remember me as Jesse Ventura, this guy, but now I'm going to be Jesse Ventura, the governor, right?
Why not, right? Jesse Ventura isn't his real name, I think he had it changed. But he's Jesse the Body Ventura, But I mean, I guess like Glenn Jacobs wasn't like Mayor Kane or whatever, right? So he should have been. Right?
He should have been, but this is the case where Blue Demon is running as Blue Demon.
I love that.
I think it's great. I think it's good, and I guess they've already figured out. I mean, he hasn't won yet, but he's already figured out a way that like he will be able to maintain his luchador anonymity, like while still being the mayor. I don't know. I think it's really interesting. I'm curious your perspective on this.
If there's any place it could work, Mexico City is the place. Wrestling is, I mean, it's a culture there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is, in Mexico City, wrestling is, probably comparative to football or basketball here. I mean, it's so big. So like, why not? And Blue Demon is a legend, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, so why not? Why can't he be mayor? I think out in Huntington Beach, Tito Ortiz he's not like the mayor, but he's like whatever they call the guy that's going to probably be mayor next. But, obviously, he's, if you're going to have a guy that got punched in the face for a living, why not Blue Demon with his mask?
Yeah. I'm surprised it took this long, honestly, for something like this to happen in Mexico City. But I also, you basically have to go out there every single night and command the attention and respect of the audience, so a lot of times through your physicality, but also through just pure charisma, and the ability to speak. No one's going to hand a professional wrestler a microphone and say, you have to make a speech now. And they're going to go, speech. Like, it's just not going to happen. Right. So, I mean, in some ways, do you think that professional wrestlers make the best politicians?
Well, yeah, I mean, like wrestling, I don't know, but I mean, they're perfect because as far as captivating an audience, as far as getting people to buy in on your bullshit, I mean, like
yeah, true.
That is pro wrestling, and a lot of that is politics. Politicians, there are, a lot of them will make promises that they can't fulfill, and so do we sometimes. I'm gonna walk out as the champion, or I will never eat cereal again. And there we are for whatever reason. 6 months later, we're like eating Fruit Loops, because there's some sort of story that finds a way. I mean, that's what it is. And in a way, professional wrestlers are the perfect politicians. And sometimes you can say politicians really are professional wrestlers that don't take bumps.
True, it's true. Which is kind of is the worst form of professional wrestler. Oh, look at the pinkies up. Sip the espresso, pinky up. That is that's a statement. We call that a statement from Scorpio Sky. If you could, so like, what's the future? What's the political future for Scorpio Sky? I'm curious what you're going to run for.
Oh, I'm done. There's no way.
Okay.
So all my political opponent would have to do is roll one episode of BTE or something, and it's over for me. So yeah, I don't think I have a political future.
I
or
feel
this
the
show,
same way.
Like, people like doing votes. Like, how are you gonna? I don't know why I do it. This is my political voice. How are you gonna vote for him when he did Bully Ray's finisher on the same show as Bully Ray? Why would you do it?
Yeah.
What is that impression? What am I doing?
It's kind of that. It felt like an off Obama. Like it felt like, but it was also weird that this is someone shouting to you, the person running for office. So it's almost like you're running for office, and then Obama is in the crowd yelling at you criticisms about stealing Bully Ray's finisher.
I used to do a pretty decent Obama impression. If you go back to the very first episode of Dynamite, it was in Washington, D.C., and SCU, we went to the White House. Obviously, we couldn't go in or behind the gates or anything, but we stood outside the gates and we filmed a promo where I basically was doing an Obama voice, and it was pretty decent. My impressions have been so bad today, I almost don't really want to go into it or try it. But my fellow Americans, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to Wrestling with the Week every single week. I don't know. That's all I got.
We should pull that out, cut the video, and then we have our official first endorsement. And then I'll work on my Bill Gates impersonation.
Someone's going to tweet me and at Scorpio Sky, and they're going to be like, never do that again. I don't know if you saw the tweet. Our football segment last week, someone's like, yeah, never do that again. I lost respect for you guys. We're like, you don't know how to talk football or whatever. It's like, we're doing a bit.
Yeah, I thought it was
recorded
funny.
Before the game happened.
We got together and said, what if we did a bit where we made it seem like we didn't know anything that was going on, because we actually don't. I mean, that being said, we were 100% right. Looking back on it now, we were 100% right about everything we predicted.
Every single thing.
And then someone would tweet and say, you sounded like you didn't know what was going on. And you go, that sounds like a joke.
Yeah, it's so funny. I really don't even pay attention to Twitter too much. But every once in a while, either someone will send me something or I'll just peek on there. Just mostly, I want to see what people are saying about this show and suggestions they make in video games. So I'll look things up. I came across that and I just thought it was hilarious.
I think some of the best uses of social media are when you've kind of established something about yourself, an attribute about yourself, and anytime something related to that attribute happens in the news or otherwise, you get tagged, and so many things so many people are letting you know. So for me this week, I don't think we have the clip, but because I'm just bringing it up now, but the Sonic the Hedgehog movie they announced the sequel. Basically, I mean, they had already, we knew that it was coming, but they basically, the first images or whatever was just a song and a graphic, and then the two becomes the Tails, because Sonic has a sidekick called Tails, and he has tails. And so, but that morning, I wake up to the smell of Jim Ross's beautiful breakfast, wafting in my nose. And then I go, I'll check the news. And I pull up my phone and it says, you have 1,000 mentions. And I go, that's weird. Did they find my butt shots or whatever? Did my Busset Challenge leak? More on that later.
Great tease.
But then I look and it's like, oh no, the Sonic 2 teaser came out and everyone tagged me in it. And it's fine. I appreciate it. It's better than having to go seek out the news. But it's also like, I don't know. I just would never think to see something and go like, I should make sure James Willems knows about this. Is James aware? Does James know about this? Because I got to make sure James knows about this. I'm grateful, but it blows my mind.
Yeah, you can't let it get to you too much. I know a lot of wrestlers that live and die on what Twitter says about their matches and that sort of thing. And you have to really develop thick skin in any form of entertainment, man. And like, I at one point, like, I would seek it out just because I thought it was funny, and I didn't want to see the positive stuff. I wanted I'll have like a circle of friends, and we'll look up tweets. It's almost like mean tweets, the bit. We'll look up the tweets burying us, and we'll just compare them because it's funny. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, Charles 128754. I apologize. You thought my match sucked, and I didn't deserve the time, and that I should quit the business. I'll consider it. And I'm sure the 3 followers you have agree with you, but you just can't. Can't let it. You can't please everybody.
Also, their profile picture is a picture of you jumping off like the turnbuckle, like doing something incredible, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on, you have a picture of me there. I mean, that's never the case with me, but I assume maybe it happens with you.
Well, yeah, going back to the Unrestricted podcast, one of the things I said was that I've toned down on flips and dives and that sort of thing because I just feel like it's gotten a little bit too easy, and people are a little too afraid to be a little different and it's kind of just like a lot of times if you look at a lot of different shows, it's just every match is just like Canadian Destroyer, dive, springboard, 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 and everyone's kind of doing the same thing. And I don't think too many people are like have the guts to step outside that box and try something different. And that's what I've been trying to do. And it's like everyone's kind of flipping and diving. So I want to maybe go a little bit more technical. So my match is a little different from other people. And obviously like in my searches really for Wrestling with the Week stuff, I stumbled upon a little bit of backlash. People were like, yeah, it'd be great. But this guy dives every match. And I'm like, you really don't watch me wrestle. I dove maybe one time in 2020. It's like, but like, it's just it's one of those things you just live with, and it's good. Well, what a lot of people don't understand is it's a small vocal minority on social media that you have to pay attention to, but at the same time, do not let it ruin your day. Don't let it I get upset when I see people that are just really, really affected by it because it sucks. Nobody wants to read people saying 300 people calling you an asshole on social media, but like, it's just when you put yourself out there, it's gonna happen. But I'll talk about it like this. I'll say, look, anywhere from 800,000, 900,000 people are watching Dynamite. That many people saw your match. Don't be upset about the 25 people that didn't like it. Whatever.
Something I've done as well is I count the positive ones, the people who reach out to say something nice and kind, as way more valuable than the people who say something negative. Because if you go to a place like Yelp or anything like that, people are way more excited to destroy a restaurant that just had like a middling okay experience or whatever. And anytime I go out to eat, I feel the same way. Or I haven't been out to eat in years, but if I ever go out to eat again, like it's always the kind of thing where I eat at a place, and if it's a great experience, I just go, oh yes, that's what it was supposed to be. And if it's bad, I always go, maybe someone should be told that this is bad. So for me, if someone comes to me and they say something nice or positive, I always go, this counts times 10 for every other thing that anyone else says. And I genuinely appreciate those kinds of things.
Absolutely. You should.
Yeah, we should. Speaking of positive feedback, I want to give some positive feedback to the main event from Dynamite, because holy cow, you talk about doing something different. That match felt incredibly different to me. Now, it did have a flip. There was a flip one time involving the most dangerous part of the whole ring, where Kenny did a fireman's carry into a moonsault with a trash can that was on the ring post, which was pretty incredible. But still, what did you think of this match? Did you check out this match?
I think you're talking about what is Kenny called? There's like a name for it, and he always shouts something right before he does that move, like
video game term.
You can't something. I don't remember. I'm not too sure. It's just another time where stepping out and doing something different is works, and it's fun. And I haven't obviously seen what people are saying about it, but I imagine people are kind of raving and really showing their appreciation for what the guys gave.
Yeah. It's really interesting because for me, the period in wrestling in the 90s where like hardcore was like on the rise, I wasn't really bought in. Like it wasn't my thing to I like the comedy of it. And especially when you think about the fact that a match can happen anywhere, anytime, that's really fun. But, I like seeing what people can do in a ring, what they can come up with inside of the limitations of that kind of ring. But this match did seem really fun. It had some wacky stuff. They were back in the kitchen for a while, and people were getting hit with all kinds of things. I always do the thing where someone gets thrown into one of those giant sliding freezers or whatever, and I go, did AEW bring that, or does that belong to what if they dent that? Who pays to replace that kind of stuff? But one of the standout moments for me was that at some point, I believe Kenny was hit with a giant box of potatoes. And I was curious for you, what's the weirdest thing you've ever been attacked with in a wrestling match? We'll keep it to a wrestling match, not everything.
That's a really tough question. I was hit with a cane by an old lady in the crowd once. Obviously, a cane is not strange, but just the fact that I was a heel that night, and I felt something whip me across my back, and I was like, "Oh, what was that?"
Yeah.
And I look back, and it's like a 70-year-old woman or something, maybe even older, and she was just like giving it to me. She was just, it's like, but as far as like anything really crazy, like I don't think I've really. I honestly haven't done too many hardcore style matches in my career. I've had a few ladder matches, maybe a no DQ match here and there, but nothing too wild. I know Sean Spears and I were supposed to do a no DQ match or something like that, but obviously it didn't end up happening, unfortunately. But I was looking forward to doing it because I feel, aside from stunts, when you have a good story, you can really tap into people's emotions with those types of matches. Mick Foley was great with it. Obviously, probably the best ever. You look at a lot of matches, a lot of hardcore matches in history. Sometimes they're just like meaningless bumps. Like it's just like, let's see what stunts we can do that are just crazy and that we can get that jackass reaction to it of oh my God, I can't believe they did that. But if you look at someone like Mick Foley, it was like there was an art to it, and it was just like
it was like you've pushed him beyond. The match would have been stopped if you've hurt this man further than you should be legally within the rules of a wrestling match allowed to, but he's still fighting. I think is like one of the cool things about stuff, like the potential with that.
The art comes from being able, you can tell the difference when you're watching a match where it's like, oh, these guys are trying to see, they're doing this for the audience. They're trying to see what kind of stunts they can do, and again, historically, you see this happen. And then there's the other side of it when it's done really, really well. And it's like everything they're doing is because these guys don't like each other. They want to hurt each other. They want to beat each other. And that's kind of that's where you really, really do it well. And you're just a spectator watching these two guys just fight. And really, to me, still, I always want something to feel like a fight. Like if you got two guys in the UFC fighting, Anderson Silva's not going to try to head kick this guy because he thinks the crowd is going to enjoy that or the crowd's going to pop. He wants to knock him out. He wants to win the fight. He wants to put on an entertaining fight, but he wants to win the fight. That's the main thing. And that's what I was looking forward to. Hopefully, I'll get to do this sometime in the future. Is kind of tapping into that violent side, which I haven't really had too many opportunities to do. People don't see that from me. People see me as kind of like the acrobatic, technical, athletic type guy. And, to be able to show that side that you can be a little violent is, and really, have some fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, then let me flip the question because we still have to talk about at least one last thing before we wrap up the show. If you could use a weapon on somebody else that maybe is a little unconventional to really showcase your violent side, what would it be? If you need a second, I can hit you with mine.
What's yours?
It's a kendo stick with a cactus on the end.
Wow. Cactus?
Yeah.
That would really, really, really hurt.
Yeah, you're right. Because sometimes those things, they get in you, and then 2 days later, you're still pulling them out. You're like, what the hell's up with this cactus? Anyway, do you have one for you?
My words.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because those hurt. I would rather, maybe instead of doing a hardcore match and hitting someone with a chair, I'll just send them a mean tweet.
Wow.
Yeah. Your gear sucks.
No. But why do you have a picture of me in your profile?
No, it's just an egg.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, because the account was created 3 days ago.
Yeah. To troll you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of trolling, we have kind of come to the end of this episode, but we make promises, we keep promises. And so last week, we saw the results of the "Do you really want to see James do the Busset challenge?" And they were overwhelming.
Look at that.
92% said yes. Now, here's the thing. What are the numbers here? If only 20 people voted, what does that mean? But either way, percentage-wise, 92% said yes. And as I've said before, I'll do anything for this show.
I'm so excited.
So we are here now to premiere my full Busset challenge. Eric, what's up?
Okay, so I have spoken with legal and I showed them the video, which was a whole other conversation.
Okay.
But
Do I still have a job? Am I still
yes, they
employed?
said for now you're fine, but only for now. And I said, cool, we can show this. And they said, yeah, but you can't play the song. This is a copywritten song. We don't own the license for, like, we can't play the song.
Okay.
And I went, oh.
Understandable.
Okay, so we have to put it out. We'll have to put it out on social. We can still. So I did get clearance to show the video.
I'll sing it.
Well, I hope so. It's my video.
Wait,
yeah.
You got clearance to show my video. Bravo, legal. Nice job.
I have never seen this, by the way. I just so everyone knows, like, I'm assuming Eric, of course you've seen it, James. I have not seen this, so I am excited. I'm going to be seeing it for the very first time with all of our viewers. So here we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to do the song, I guess. I wish there was a way that you could listen to it at the same time. Anyway, can we just whenever you guys are ready, do this thing.
I'm ready.
All right.
I think my butt getting big, butt getting big, butt getting big, butt getting big. I think my butt bust. Bust.
So, yes, that is my Busset challenge video.
That was great. I love the wig.
I could see
the towel wig or what is
that? So I know I was a little unclear on the rules. You said it's someone and they're supposed to be in their like regular clothes, and then when they drop, they're built up to looking much nicer. So, of course, it starts with me in my Wrestling with the Week t-shirt, my casual all around wear, and then what I dropped into, I actually changed into it's a turtle onesie. You can't really see it, but there is a shell on the back. So there's my Wrestling with the Week. Just casual
you're working
attire.
the camera, man. Working that camera. Look at that.
Not breaking eye contact. And then boom, drop right into with the pop and drop right into my onesie. Now I did notice that because I tied off the arms of the onesie in front of me so they'd be out of the way so I could truly bust it. But I also noticed it swings between my legs, which really creates just a terrible look. Just a disgusting, terrible look.
It swings between my legs. Episode 6 or 5. What is this?
But I delivered as promised. That is my Busted Challenge entry. I delivered as promised.
Why was that? What was the look on your face? What was going on? Like, you look like you're in a trance. So, like, you look unwell.
Yeah. So I was number one. Yeah, I was caught up in the busset. Number two, my wife, who helped me film it, had a gun pointed at me just outside of the lens. So if you're curious why I have that expression, no, eye contact is the most important part because I watched a bunch of them to prepare, and I noticed they all maintain that eye contact, and so I wanted to make sure.
You made your wife film that.
I love it. I love it. This is why we're doing the show. This is what the great thing about social media. That right there.
This is the power of
yes. Thank you.
Well, on that note, I think that brings us to the end of episode 5 of Wrestling with the Week.
The King Kong Bundy episode.
And
or the Bret Hart 5 championship when he beat Taker. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Sorry, continue.
No, we could find a ton of 5s probably. But yeah, so thank you everybody for watching, listening. Please, this is definitely an interactive show. I think one of our favorite parts is taking the things that you guys send us, share with us, want us to talk about, want us to discuss. So please continue doing that. You can follow us, reach us, communicate with us at WWTWpod on Instagram and Twitter. You can also just reach out to Sky and I directly. No problems there. We'll keep looking at your stuff, because I honestly, we talk about the week, we've got our news stories, but I also really, really like how the things you guys send to us get us going down these stories, get us going down these tangents, and it really creates a unique flavor to this show that I really look forward to every single week. So thank you guys for watching and listening. Sky?
Yes, absolutely. Once again, just recapping, if anybody has anything that they want to show us, want us to talk about, reach out, WWTW Pod, at Scorpio Sky, at James Willems Feet. Get in the comments, hit us up. Smash that like button. I've always wanted to say that.
Oh, God.
Subscribe. I love that.
There goes your political
Smash that
career
like
right
button, man. Smash that like button. I just love that term, man. Smash that like button.
Yeah. Pile drive that like button. We have to customize it to our own brand. Yeah.
I like that. Demolition, smash that like button. I feel like you got to put some emphasis in it, for the people watching on video. You got to smash that like button.
You go smorsh that lork button.
Like button. Yeah. You got to put your shoulder into it, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, sorry. Thank you.
It looks like you're
everyone.
doing your busted challenge over there. Careful.
I don't know. I gotta stop. Too much coffee. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. 5 episodes, not canceled yet. Love it. Hopefully, we will be back next week for episode 6. What is episode 6?
What is 6?
6. The Upside Down 9 episode. Yeah.
I was to say, yeah. The guy who isn't Sting episode.
Oh, the X-Pac episode. The Sean Waltman episode.
There we go.
Come back for our Sean Waltman episode.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening, and we will see you in 7 days for another episode of Wrestling with the Week.